Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love, and I'm Reverend Tomas. Thank you to all of you who have recently joined us here on YouTube. I'm so happy that you've subscribed and viewed these videos. And of course, you're always welcome to leave comments and ask questions here. So thank you to those of you who have done that. I'm really delighted to have you aboard, and it really is wonderful that this is reaching people. My calling, you can call it my job if you want to. My directive is to turn on the camera and microphone and share the Holy Spirit with you. So I very much appreciate your joining me. And as you may know, this course is universal. It's universal in theme, it's universal in application. What this means is that you can be of any religious or spiritual background at all. It doesn't matter what that background is. It doesn't matter what tradition you were raised in, if any. There is something to be gained from every single one of these videos. So quick practice reminder, because this is all about practice. There's absolutely no substitute for doing the work. These videos and all of the other, some of them quite wonderful supplementary materials that are out there in print and videos, lots of information and explanation, clarification about this course online. None of it is designed to be a substitute for actually doing the work. That's where the action lies in spirituality. It's one of the reasons why I say it's an adult endeavor, because we actually have to do it. Nobody can wave a magic wand and make us magically enlightened from without, as we see here on this path. There is no one out there separate from you to wave a magic wand and make you wake up. We've got to put in the effort ourselves. So there's no substitute for doing the work. There's no substitute for doing the reading either. And if you wish to make what we call progress on the path, if you wish to awaken, sooner or later, we gotta be adults and start doing the work. I know. That means looking at all of the dark stuff. Yeah. So where are we? Well, we're in the very first section of the text of A Course in Miracles. We're looking at the highlights of paragraphs 31 through 35 here in section 1, chapter 1, section 1, Principles of Miracles. And the highlights here are worth a lot of discussion. Miracles dispel illusions, and what they do is they help to free our mind. Now, Jesus refers to these illusions as a prison. They help to free our mind from the imprisonment of illusions, from our mistaken belief that we're physical bodies running around competing for scarce resources, or so we think, with other physical bodies. In other words, thinking that we're something that we're not, never have been. Again, I'll do this so many times. I will, I promise. I want to call all of our attention again to the famous idea from the Course. Ideas leave not their source. You have never left your source. Ideas do not leave their source. We're invited to do that verbal math. It's pretty simple, isn't it? It's so simple, it's disarmingly simple. And of course, it's so simple that it gets missed in day-to-day life. When we've got phone calls, when we're checking email, when we're doing the dishes, when we're having a conversation about something other than spirituality, right? When we're having an argument, all kinds of things that carry us away in our daily lives. It's the simplicity that we come back to. Miracles restore sanity. They restore our basic sanity. Forgiveness restores our basic sanity. Health, it's healing. It's healing. Now, I want to spend a couple of minutes here on paragraph 35 in particular. Yeah, in particular, because this brings up a very important practical consideration in our daily lives, doesn't it? It brings up a very important practical consideration on our journey. Miracles are expressions of love, but may not have observable effects. Okay. Yeah, they are. Miracles are expressions of love, but they may not have observable effects, a definite principle of miracles. Let's talk about this. This is really important here on the path. They may not have observable effects. So when you forgive somebody, as we see, the forgiveness is done at the level of the mind, your mind. There's only one mind, after all. It's done at the level of the mind. A person that you may be forgiving is an image that appears on your screen, so to speak. We're forgiving what appears to be outside of us. It's really in our own mind. Therefore, quite naturally, the benefits of the forgiveness go to the forgiver. They also extend to the one forgiven. This, however, may not be immediately observable. You may not be able to tell that you've been forgiving somebody because their egregious behavior continues. This is really important because this is something that causes people consternation on the path, doesn't it? It is a reason why people give up on things, including working through this course. I mean, there may be many reasons why someone is led to do that, but this is one of them, is the fact that it doesn't seem to be working. Here is something very important for all of us. This course is done at the level of the mind. Forgiveness is done at the level of the mind. It's not done out there. So when you forgive somebody, you may not be able to tell out there because they may continue with their horrific behavior. If they're an abuser, they may continue to be an abuser. If they're a narcissist, they may continue to behave like a narcissist. Example, from my own experience, my own mother, a raging alcoholic, very verbally abusive, and so much so that I thought that was the norm in life for many years, to have a difficult relationship. When we grow up as children, we're of course conditioned, and a large part of that is our immediate nuclear family. It's not all of it by any means, naturally, but a large part of it is. So I had become so attenuated to abusive behavior, so used to it, that it took me until I was in my 40s to set healthy boundaries. I did that, and having done that, began to go to work, forgiving her. True forgiveness, as presented in A Course in Miracles. True forgiveness Well, guess what? The outward behavior continued. I didn't see any outwardly observable results. Here's what I did see: inward results. A sense of calm, a sense of lightness. That's the best way I can describe that in words. If you've had that experience, perhaps you'll relate to this. A sense of lightness, a sense of calm and liberation. Liberation. Confidence, certainty, all stemming from true forgiveness. She never knew about it because we didn't have a phone conversation. We didn't have an exchange of texts or email or a sit-down discussion. We didn't write each other long and heartfelt letters. None of that. This is really important because the person that you may be forgiving does not have to know. The effects are within you. I like to use my own mother as an example because, well, it was right in my face for a long time. But the results are inside. If you have been studying and practicing this course for a while, I invite you to think about the person that you were when you began, whenever it was. If it was yesterday, who were you yesterday, right? If it was years ago, think about that and take a look at how you are now. Are you kinder? Are you more loving? Are you more forgiving? Are you more relaxed and freaking calm? Are you more chill? Do things get to you the same way they used to? Are you happier, more joyful, more loving? Remember that the benefit of forgiveness goes very, very much to the person forgiving. In fact, there's no one else out there. So, of course, you are going to benefit. How will other people benefit? Well, they'll benefit by your lights, won't they? They'll benefit by your carriage, your demeanor, the words, the presence that you bring, having forgiven and made a habit of it. You show up differently. It's like a light in a dark room. It really is. So it's an important consideration on the path. Just because there doesn't appear to be an outwardly tangible result doesn't mean that this isn't working deep down. Remember, we're only forgiving what appears on the screen, on the surface. The Holy Spirit does the rest. The Holy Spirit is healing our deep unconscious guilt. It's operating on levels that we cannot even consciously imagine. We can't. It's unconscious. Therefore, we can't consciously imagine the levels that this is operating on throughout space and time, which we've projected anyway. It's powerful. So this is a very important practical message, isn't it? It is, because we want to see outward results, don't we? We're so trained and conditioned in the world to get things, like in business, for example, money and objects, that sort of thing. We're so attenuated, we're so conditioned to get outward goals that the inward goals get overlooked, quite frankly. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? When we're focused outward, the inward progress can get overlooked. So let's not overlook that, because it's a beautiful thing. That's where the action is. And as you forgive, this is something that has come up for many people. People sometimes want credit for their forgiveness work, don't they? I don't expect you to self-identify, but here's a question, food for thought. Have you ever wanted a gold star? Have you ever wanted a shiny sticker or a pat on the back or some form of praise for having done your forgiveness work? Have you ever wanted to get noticed doing your forgiveness work? Question. Food for thought. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. It's not the point. The point is the miracle right in the present moment. The point is extending love right in the moment. It's not the praise of people in the world. I mean, if it happens, great. But what we're invited to do here is not be attached to that. If this sounds very Buddhist, it is. It's non-attachment to the external outcome. The more we forgive, the more confident we become, because we are doing this under the direction of the Holy Spirit. We're trusting in the Holy Spirit's power and strength. We're learning to relax and trust. And we develop a certainty that this is helping, even though we may not immediately see the results. So this is a beautiful message for all of us. I want to share it with you. Keep going. Keep practicing. It's working. If you do it, it's working on levels that you may not currently see. And that's all right. That's all right. Right. Thank you all for joining me. The subscription button is right down here, the little red arrow. I'd love to have you join me. What we're doing here is we're going through A Course in Miracles. And I shoot about 5 or 6 videos a week, unless I'm on the road or traveling. And well, right now I'm not. So I will see you again on the very next video. And I really hope that this message inspires you to practice. It's a heartfelt invitation to keep going, even if it doesn't seem like there's any outwardly tangible result. The results aren't necessarily going to show up that way. And the inner results are what we're going for anyway. All right, guys, thank you so much. I will see you again soon.